A satisfying conclusion to the saga is here. After all the buildup, some twists and turns, we finally close the book on KingOhger. Oh, it's not over? Then why does this feel like a season finale? Oh yeah, there's unresolved plot points. Otherwise, there's a pretty good spectacle this week for KingOhger. Since last week they didn't have any WD-40 necessary to move the castle, we get taken in by Duga, the last remaining scientist from Raculus's secret, who has been surviving off leftover candy, which isn't enough to survive. Thus, Himeno hits him with her mantis handjob. Taking it straight to the dome, old buddy's back in action, giving us some insight into what all they've developed with the Ohger Caliber Zero technology. Using it, they developed the crown, and afterwards the lance, which the two combined should have revived the castle. The issue is that their new tech just doesn't fully work with the tech of 2,000 years ago. But Yama made it work for the Shoe Gods, and they're about the same age. So Gira tries calling them over to see them work their magic, which they do, and it does help a little bit, as it allows the castle to slowly start healing up. But the issue is, even with that thing is old, and most of the gears are just broken. Like that one right there. So Enkasopa crunches the numbers, and they need about 20,000 gears. Luckily, Shugadam has tons just lying around, so Gira cranks the tyranny up to an 11 and gets the folks scared for their lives, if they don't bring him what he wants by sunrise. But Kamajim ain't about to let the citizens help build up their biggest threat, so the Bugnarok attack. But so do Himeno, Dabowski, and Rita. The citizens bring in the gears, and Jeremy webs them up until they are down to one last gear, the tiny core, which just happens to be the right size of the gear in Boone's play sword. And although he could just hand the gear over to Duga or any of the Ohgers just to send over to Gira, they instead make him take the trek to the castle himself. Though Kamajin ain't no slouch and knocks that shit out. Insert dramatic slow motion until Jeremy saves the day and transports it right where it needs to be. Though that's when Daigorg is awake and ready to strike. So he gets out that wind up. He's still winding up. And this is taking too long. Gira, just slowly take your time activating the castle. Wow, and he's still winding up. Okay, keep that castle transforming, Gira. Alright, we got that castle transformed and ready to just stand there menacingly. What's Daigorg doing? Still winding up? Y'all should have been dead. Hold up. Giant fight needs giant commentary. We are VR Blazar! I'm sorry, what the hell is that commentary? Yeah, I know, it sucks. This is the only way that he talks.
It's time for a little guy big fight commentary from there.
You know what? No, I'll just recap. Daigorg gets his ass split in two by the girth that is King Caucasus Kabuto Castle, splitting his ass so wide that Jeremy was able to pull out those Shoe God souls from it. So, with all that said and done, Gira tells his people that they're cogs. And they don't like that. But it was just word salad from Gira, as he really just means that they are necessary for Shugadam to work. And with that, celebrations, and old buddy's dead. But now, Gira gets to become king, officially. And they all lived happily ever after. The end. So, with this episode of KingOhger, we get the formal debut of King Caucasus Kabuto Castle. With that mouthful, let's talk forms. It's a giant CG brick! It's clear that this was designed as an attachment for the KingOhger first and foremost. And they just needed to get something done that wouldn't be too hard to create a CG model of and have it look somewhat decent. It's alright, but it's no Deca Base Robo. Rating time! So I actually really enjoyed this episode more than the previous outings. Something about having the citizens of Shugodan finally pull themselves together in a crisis, something that we had seen before from the other countries, but not here up until now. And that was frantically heartwarming. As Gira takes the reins and finds out that what it takes to be the king is not just doing everything himself, but relay and have faith in others as well. Due to that, this episode is getting the Shinken S! This really does feel like the tail end portion of almost the whole series. This is a good way to close up the halfway point for this season as a whole. Though next week kinda puts the final bow on that present before the door swings open once again for a new surprise. I do like the tone that this episode took this week, however. Though, look, in actuality, not much really happened, just like before. The pacing was a bit slow and it kinda did help to the gravity of it all, given the looming presence of Daigorg in the background and the citizens just completely losing their collective shit. Sadly, that long windup was a little unnecessary and was just a dragging factor from getting things to going a full Sononi S+ rank. What we did get here was a bit more information regarding the questions that we had during the Raculus' secret, as well as within the show up until now. The origin of the crown and the lance comes from studying the Ohger Caliber 0. So, they weren't just found, they were made for the purpose of getting the castle moving. Though, it's a toss-up if Researcher Guy is dead or not at the end, but I'm in the camp of yes, since in the specials, Raculus did emphasize that once their job was done, they are executed. So, that added context from the special just made this scene feel a little bit morbid. Daigorg really was just the muscle used to flex how strong this new castle was, which still kind of rubs me the wrong way. Because he didn't really do much. And when he did have time to wreck shit, there's a reason thrown into why he just can't. And now he's dead. He's already gone. That was quick. They hyped this man up. Next time, it does look like the final fight with Deathnarok is at hand. But all while he throws shade on Jeremy's lack of kingship. I am hoping that we do get some more on Deathnarok, as there's been so many seed plants to potential key parts to what they are up to, but so far they haven't really done much about it. I am hoping that we end up getting other Bugnarok factions showing up that maybe weren't conquered by Deathnarok. Though I feel like Kamajim is the type of guy that is playing all sides and is serving another master. After all, it seems like he does know the identity of who is responsible for the fury of the gods, and acted outside of Deathnarok's knowing when he tried to silence the person who potentially knew. That is, overall, the biggest plot point that we're still waiting to see more of. Though they could have dived deeper into the Shu God soul eating and Kuagan's missing soul, but I guess they're just going to end up being food for thought for later. We gotta fully close the threads on what's happening in the present before they can fully dive into how everything from 15 years ago is tied into it. So, what did you think about this week's KingOhger? Himeno with that head game, Shogadan getting its gears turning, and Gira finally getting to be king. Anyway, that's it for me. Until next time, bye.